let's move on to main topic number 3, shall we? And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Amir I. And Amir I writes, when you posted on Twitter the other night that a couple of big announcements were about to come out showing the studios giving up on theaters, you even nailed the part where they'd say we're still committed to theaters, and they did. I knew one was going to be Wonder Woman. So, 2 questions. Number 1, how did you know? Number 2, does WB tell you this stuff? And number 2, what do you think caused them to make this move? Thanks. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, Wonder Woman 84 is going to come out on HBO Max on December 25th. Little bit of background to this. So it was a week ago. I can't remember how long ago it was. A week ago, a number of days ago. Rob and I are doing the show. And we discussed the topic of, hey, there's a possibility Wonder Woman 84 gets pushed back into summer. And there's a possibility it comes out on Christmas Day in theaters and then comes out on HBO Max like a few days later or a week later or a couple of weeks later, whatever. And I said on the show, it's possible it could do that. It's possible it could come out in theaters and then come out on HBO Max a few days later. But I don't think it will. It's gonna come out. They're gonna push it back to summer. They're gonna push it back to summer. Well, somebody saw that show and gave me a call. For some reason, listen, I love Disney, but I will call out Disney's crap when I think there's crap. Like their lack of premium original content on Disney Plus. I'll complain about this. I'll complain about that. I'll complain about Warner Brothers, but I actually have a really good relationship with Warner Brothers. I have several friends at Warner Brothers. All that to say is this: somebody gave me a call and said, "So I was watching your show, John, and you saying, yeah, like you think they're going to push it off. Just so you know, it's coming out on HBO Max on Christmas Day." And I went, really? And they're like, yeah, it's coming out on HBO Max Christmas Day. Don't tell anybody, but it's coming out on HBO Max. So I then got a word from a second piece of information about Black Widow. And so I put out this tweet, but I made the tweet ambiguous. In my defense, I made the tweet very ambiguous. And I put out this tweet that just said the other night, a couple of nights ago, I said, you know, a couple of very big significant announcements are coming out in the next couple of weeks that pretty much show that Hollywood studios are giving up on theaters. And when they do make these announcements, they will say things like, we're still committed to the theatrical experience, but it's just niceties at this point. I put that tweet up. It was only up for about an hour because I got a phone call from this guy saying, you said you wouldn't tell anybody. I said, I didn't mention Wonder Woman. It's like look at your Twitter stream. Everybody's figuring out that you're talking about Wonder Woman. I'm like, all right. So I pulled the tweet down.
But hold on.
And then about a day later.
But you know what? Here's the thing. And if this person is watching, I'm calling you out because that's like someone telling me a secret and then me going and telling someone, like calling, I don't know, Perez Hilton, not comparing you to Perez Hilton, but but telling someone that has clearly a show about movie news and then being like, but don't tell anybody the secret that I wasn't supposed to say in the first place. And then getting mad at you for like even hinting. Come on, you should have kept your mouth shut, Mr. Warner Brothers. That's on you.
I think they were rubbing it in my face that I was wrong about what I said on the show because, yeah, I could do that, but they're going to
How about wait until an hour before the announcement is made?
Well, okay, yeah, but they just want to push in my face. And to be fair, listen,
everybody likes to be the keeper of a secret.
I get told a lot of stuff that I totally keep my mouth shut. But when I found out about the Black Widow thing, I thought I'm going to put out this ambiguous tweet. But
Black Widow
I talked about Black Widow on the show. I told you about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought, well, now there's these two things. So I put out this tweet. I kept it ambiguous, but yeah. but you know what? In fairness, he was right. I mean, everybody, when you looked at the responses, like everybody was figuring out exactly we were talking about Wonder Woman. And so I pulled the tweet down. Anyway, that's how I knew. The other thing connected with this is the bigger issue. We talked on yesterday's show about the fact that while I'm not going to be surprised if Black Widow does not go straight to Disney Plus, I do believe it's likely. And we spent a good amount of time on yesterday's show laying out why I believe it is actually now likely. Whereas I thought it was an impossibility before.
Same.
But as
I said, there's no way it'll happen.
No way. But as I've said many times during this pandemic, the longer the pandemic goes on, the more and more things that were impossible start to become possible and feasible. And then it stretches out longer. Even more things become possible, even thing. And of course, Disney's now just looking at accelerating what their master plan was all along, which is to convert Disney into a complete direct-to-consumer company with Hulu and Disney Plus and whatever. But here comes Wonder Woman. Now, after Patty Jenkins swearing just a few weeks ago, no, we're about the theatrical experience on this. Well, guess what? Even though Patty Jenkins, who I adore, is the director of that film, she is not the top of the food chain.
And she doesn't control the money.
She does not control the money. And they that control the money control the movie. And it came out. And listen, I don't believe for a second that this move of Wonder Woman now going to HBO Max. And you know what? Let's be specific here. Because there are some interesting specific points here that should be noted. This is the story as it came from Variety. Audiences will get to see Wonder Woman 84 on Christmas Day after all. After much speculation, Warner Brothers announced that the superhero sequel will debut on the streaming service HBO Max on December 25th, the same day it will open in US movie theaters. There's something we have to talk about first, but we'll get to that in a minute. Internationally, where HBO Max is not available, Wonder Woman 84 will premiere in cinemas 1 week earlier. So for those of you who don't have HBO Max, a little bit of a treat. You get it earlier than everybody else, even though you probably can't go to your local movie theater anyway. But on December 16th, the film will stream on HBO Max for a month at no additional cost.
So then what happens? It's only going to be on
HBO
Max for a month, and then it's not going to be on HBO Max anymore, and it'll be in theaters?
Once it's
already come out digitally and is pirated all over the world?
See, here's my guess. And I have put out a request for some more information. I haven't heard anything back, which is not surprising. But here's my guess. My guess is Wonder Woman 84 probably already had a licensing deal in place.
Okay.
Where it would go to something else after its theatrical run. And maybe by debuting it on HBO Max, they found a way to circumvent that, at least temporarily. Because remember, when HBO Max launched, they had a number of things on HBO Max that then quickly left. I believe the Harry Potter franchise was one of the things. Hey, everybody, sign up for HBO Max. We've got Harry Potter. Then everybody blinked for a second and it was gone. And now Harry Potter isn't on streaming anywhere at the moment.
So the whole purpose is to get people to sign up for HBO Max.
Oh, yes. I think I think that this is absolutely, you cannot convince me that this move is not at least in some indirect way connected to the fact that Disney came out just a week or so ago, announced we have accumulated 73 million subscribers in just 1 year. They have blown past HBO and HBO Max in subscribers and everything in 1 year. In 1 year. And this whole movement, everything I talked about yesterday on the show about why Disney is making this fundamental shift to all things streaming, even though that's not necessarily good for us, but I get it. It makes business sense why they're doing it. All those principles apply to HBO and HBO Max as well.
Right.
Because they want that, they need that. And their subscription signups has been disappointing, especially when they look over the fence and they see Disney Plus. They've got the kiddie pool in their yard, and then they look over the fence at Disney Plus and they got jacuzzis and spas and, all the
water slide,
male and female models walking around serving hors d'oeuvres to the guests. I mean, they say, hey, we want a bit of that party. So and they did exactly what I said they were going to do, because I knew part of the statement was going to be, but we are still committed to the theatrical. That sure enough, that was in there. But that's just niceties. This is their move of, we have got to start creating more of an impact now with HBO Max. We have got to start turning the tide now with HBO Max. And the delays, it's presented an opportunity, and they decided to go that way. We'll talk about whether it's a good thing. The other thing about that statement, though, let me just bring it up again for a second. The other thing about this statement is the first part. Warner Brothers announced that the superhero sequel will debut on streaming services HBO Max on December 25th. The same day will open in US movie theaters. Which movie theaters?
Right.
Because AMC may have a deal with Universal right now and Cinemark. But what Bill and Ted 3 taught us is you can say we're also putting it out in theaters, but there's only a couple of theaters out there, I mean, more than a couple, but I'm talking relative terms. There's only a few theaters out there that will show movies that are doing day and date releases. Regal won't show them. And I don't even know that AMC will show it because they've got a specific deal with Universal. Maybe they will. So when they say in theaters, okay, which theaters, particularly in the United States?
Well, and HBO Max is also going to want to make sure that they have I don't even know if they have the ability to have a say-so in how many theaters. I mean, is that potentially part of the HBO Max deal of, okay, well, we're going to pay X amount of dollars to acquire Wonder Woman for our streaming platform, but we want to make sure that it's not going to be in too many theaters?
They don't even have to pay for it. I mean, it's Warner Brothers. It's their movie.
Okay.
That's the thing. They don't have to license it. So which is part of the advantage for them is that there's no licensing involved for them because they can just do it. So to me, this is clearly a play. And then the 1 month, again, there might be something else behind the scenes. I've got no official word on this, but the fact that it's only going to be available for 1 month suggests to me that it's then going to have to go do something else. Again, I don't know that. That is just me speculating. But
I guess I'm just surprised because all of these announcements with Wonder Woman and Black Widow, I wouldn't be surprised if we were in the same place, pandemic, COVID, that we were maybe 2 weeks ago. And what I mean, yes, I'm aware numbers are spiking everywhere. We were just talking beforehand about the numbers in Los Angeles that are just going out of control. But also in the last 2 weeks, we've had really promising reports about vaccines with 95% efficacy from Pfizer and Moderna that are going to be distributed as, they're going in tomorrow. They're going to find out if they get the emergency federal
approval from the
approval.
FDA.
Dr. Fauci's talking about them being distributed as early as December for frontline workers and to the wider population as it goes on through April. So my feeling was, oh, okay, well, not that I was equating, yay, we're going to have a vaccine with when our movie's going to be back in theaters, but if I'm running Warner Brothers, I think, okay, great, let's get on the July 4th weekend books and have our big summer blockbusters. So I for me, the timing was just weird in that we just got, for the first time, a light at the end of this really horrific tunnel that, if it all goes the way the scientists are saying it's going to go, could result in a really wonderful summer for everything, not just for movies. But so that was surprising to me, that the first glimpse of good news and a potential end to this situation we've been in, and the very immediate movie news after that is, oh, well, we're just going to put these movies on VOD.
See, that
was surprising
right.
to me.
You're exactly right. And because everything you just said is so true, it puts an exclamation point on exclamation point. What did I say?
Well, it's the lip thing. You said explanation point, but it's the lip. You know what? It's the lip thing.
The explanation point.
I didn't know if there was a new. I didn't know if there was a new pronunciation term that I should learn.
The exclamation point. It puts an exclamation point on the fact that this is the studios signaling, yeah, that's not the direction we're going. We are going. Now, it'll be different for studios like Paramount, Sony, things like this. They don't have their own streaming services. So I had a bunch of people writing to me saying, John, what do you think is going to happen in No Time to Die? I think it's going to go straight to streaming too. Here's the difference. Disney has its own streaming network it is trying to promote and get ingrained. Warner Brothers has its own streaming apparatus.
I did not realize that HBO Max was owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's all Warner Brothers. All under AT&T. They own it all.
I hope that King Richard is still going to come out in theaters in Thanksgiving. I finally got my shoot date. King Richard, the Will Smith movie that I'm doing. I was supposed to film on one date, and then I got this email. Oh, we've had to shut down production again. So apparently there was like a string of false positives, but which is good that
Caution is good.
Exactly. They go, oh, we have a positive test. We're shutting things down. And then now we're back up and running again.
Yeah. So, but the point you raise is so on target. The fact that, hey, now that we're getting this light at the end of the tunnel, now is when we're hearing about all these, like these big major ones switching. To me, that just further indicates that this is the way, particularly that the studios that have their own platforms like HBO, like Disney Plus, that this is the way they're going. Look, I'm not saying we're not going to get movies in theaters anymore. I'm not saying any of that, and who knows what's going to happen. But to me, it just really highlights on that. Is it the right move for them to do? Was it the smart move to take Wonder Woman and put it on HBO Max? In an immediate sense, no, it wasn't. Because you're right. If this vaccine starts coming out and we get these theaters back up and operational mid-year, whatever, Wonder Woman could have potentially, not that it would have made $1 billion, but had the potential to be $1 billion film.
Sure.
They are going to take a short-term hit in the hopes that moving it onto HBO Max now and early and bringing this sort of attention to HBO Max, which is falling behind Disney Plus and is still continues to fall way behind Netflix and all these sorts of things. They're hoping that the long-term benefits of this will outweigh the financial losses they're going to take. And make no mistake, they're going to take financial losses on this.
Big time.
That it will outweigh in the long run the financial losses they take by not having this thing truly theatrically.
Well, and especially during the holidays, that's when you want people to, because people theoretically have the time to sit at home watching movies, watching projects. And, and I know that I know that not everyone who watches cartoons is a child. I get that. I'm an adult. I like watching animated films as well. But let's face it, a big draw for Disney Plus is the fact that, if you're a parent, you're subscribing to Disney Plus. If you can afford it, you're getting Disney Plus. And if you can choose between all the streaming platforms and you've got kids, Disney Plus is on the top of your list of ones that you're going to subscribe to. And so if you have kids also who saw the first Wonder Woman, again, Wonder Woman, all these action movies with superheroes, especially the DC version, the DC ones, kids want to see those, and kids are going to want to watch those during the holidays. So if you've got kids and they saw Wonder Woman, the first one, they're going to want to see the second one. And
and how about instead of Disney Plus, HBO Max becomes a little bit more attractive. Yeah, and maybe that is something that has been waning on the HBO Max's thing is appealing to families. I haven't seen them do anything really to appeal to families yet. Maybe this is one of the first moves to say, hey guys, listen, we're not just for adult content.
And that's the thing is that with so many parents being forced to educate at home now, we just heard about New York school closing,
shutting down again,
and so you have kids that are stuck at home and parents that, especially in the winter when, in certain areas of the country when you can't necessarily just go outside and play in the park, a lot of parents are pulling their hair out like, what the fuck am I going to do with my kids all winter? So stick in front of the television. Now you got HBO Max and Disney Plus. There you go.
Well, anyway, guys, so Wonder Woman 84 going straight to HBO Max. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably throwing in questions about that in the live questions part of the show. So we'll get to that in just a second. Question is, guys, what do you think about the move? Are you surprised? Good move, bad move, whatever. I'm sure we're all looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman 84 on Christmas Day. I'm not going to lie to you, though. I was hoping that Christmas would come along, some theaters would be open, get to go with a bunch of friends to a theater with some other film fans and see it and cheer and hoop and holler. We're going to have to watch it doing the same thing you do every single fucking night. Sitting at home in the same couch, watching the same fucking TV. Whatever. I'm still looking forward to seeing it, though. Question is, guys, what do you think about it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.